You know how they say pride comes before a fall? Well, have you ever thought about how a single prideful moment, one little insult, could trigger an absolute catastrophe? Today, we're diving deep into a story that shows us exactly that, how ego can lead to total ruin, and it all starts with one devastating remark. So, our story kicks off with this just brutal public takedown. We have this powerful figure, Daksha, who is absolutely furious with his son-in-law, Lord Shiva. And in front of everyone, all the gods and sages, he just lets loose. He calls him shameless, impure, a destroyer of fame. I mean, it is the ultimate public humiliation. But here's where it gets really interesting. This is the twist that changes everything. What if every single one of those insults, when you just tilt your head and look at it from a different angle, was actually a profound compliment, a form of the highest praise hidden in plain sight? That's the puzzle we're going to solve right now. All right, so let's break this down. We're going to deconstruct what Daksha actually said and uncover the hidden meanings that he was completely, utterly blind to. Okay, check this out, because this is where perspective is everything. The exact same words can mean completely opposite things. Daksha calls Shiva shameless, but that word can also mean one who protects the shelterless, which is exactly what Shiva does. He says Shiva spoils fame, but you could also read that as his own fame is so gigantic it just eclipses everyone else's. And when he calls him proud or unmoving, he's missing the point. Shiva's stillness is a symbol of his eternal, steady nature, like time itself. And the list just keeps going. Daksha calls him impure, but spiritually speaking, no one's pure. He says Shiva acts like a madman, but that's just another way of saying he's mad with divine love. And calling him unclean because he hangs out in crematoriums? Well, Daksha just doesn't get that Shiva's power is so immense he can purify even the most impure things. So, here's the real issue, the heart of the conflict. Daksha was completely trapped in a material worldview. He was trying to measure spiritual greatness using a ruler made of social etiquette, reputation, and superficial stuff. He couldn't see the profound reality that was literally sitting right in front of him. And that clash of perspectives, well, it's the spark that's about to light a massive fire. And yeah, that fire is about to become a full-blown cosmic catastrophe. You see, words have consequences, and Daksha's words are about to bring his entire world crashing down around him. To really get what happens next, we need to understand this ancient concept, hubris. Now, in ancient Greece, this wasn't just about being arrogant. No. Hubris was a specific act, a public performance of insult designed to humiliate someone, not for revenge, but just for the sheer pleasure of feeling superior. That is exactly what Daksha just did. And what Daksha does perfectly illustrates this classic three-step path to downfall. It always starts with envy, right? That little knot in your stomach when you see someone else's success. For Daksha, that envy boils over into hubris, the public shaming. And what always follows hubris? Nemesis, the inevitable, devastating payback. And boy, does that retribution come fast. Just look at this timeline. It all spirals out of control so quickly. First, Daksha lays down his curse. But his words have a ripple effect he never saw coming. His own daughter, Sati, is so consumed by the shame that she takes her own life. When Shiva hears this, his grief explodes into a rage that literally shakes the cosmos. He creates this terrifying warrior, Virabhadra, who is basically his wrath made real. And then it's just carnage. Virabhadra's army storms the ceremony and completely destroys it. And the final act of this nemesis, Virabhadra grabs Daksha, severs his head, and throws it right into the very sacrificial fire he was so proud of. Total, absolute ruin. Now, this isn't just some one-off crazy story. This tragic flaw, this destructive pride of Daksha's, it's a pattern, a universal theme that we see playing out again and again in these ancient texts. Just look at the pattern here. You've got King Venna, whose ego was so huge he demanded that people worship him instead of God, and he was destroyed. You've got the powerful sage Durvasa Muni, who offends a humble king and nearly loses everything. Each story is a variation on the same theme. Pride, especially pride that leads to offending something or someone sacred, is a direct path to your own destruction. But here's the thing. This pattern isn't just for ancient kings and powerful sages. It's a pattern that plays out inside every single one of us. And to see how, we're going to look at this incredible allegory that reframes this whole conflict. Because this next story, well,
It's about you. Okay, so in this story, a king finds a perfect city with 9 gates and meets this captivating queen. He becomes totally obsessed with her. Let's decode this. The king? That's you, your soul, your actual consciousness. The city? That's your body, with all its senses. And that queen he's so obsessed with? That's your mind, your intelligence, your desires, constantly whispering what you should chase next. The king hunting in the forest is basically just us, running after fleeting pleasures day after day.
So the takeaway here is huge. The whole story is a warning. Don't get so caught up in the vehicle, your body, that you forget you're the driver, the soul. And don't mistake the navigation system, your mind, for the actual destination. This is the exact same mistake Daksha made. He identified so strongly with the external, with the vehicle, that he completely lost sight of what really matters.
So, what's the way out of this trap? Well, the end of Daksha's story actually gives us a really powerful, if a little strange, lesson in humility and, believe it or not, forgiveness. So after all that chaos, Shiva's anger cools, and in this incredible act of mercy, he agrees to bring Daksha back to life. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. Daksha's head is gone, so he gets revived with the head of a goat. It's a permanent, kind of woolly reminder of his foolish, stubborn pride. It's a moment of both consequence and incredible compassion. Okay, so this brings it all back to us. Daksha was destroyed because his ego couldn't handle what he saw as an insult. So how do we avoid that same fate in our own lives when we feel criticized or disrespected or slighted? The teachings from this story give us a pretty clear roadmap. First, profound humility. Be ready to offer respect, even if you don't feel like you're getting any back. And this one is huge. Understand that criticism often says way more about the critic's own issues than it does about you. Try to welcome negative words as a chance to grow. And finally, practice forgiveness. Actually be a well-wisher to the person who criticized you. And really, all of this points back to one core powerful principle. The reason you offer respect to everyone isn't just about being polite. It's about recognizing that there's a spark of the divine in every single being. When you can see that, disrespect kind of becomes impossible. You shift from Daksha's world of external status to Shiva's world of inner reality. So we'll end with this thought. The next time you face criticism, you're at a crossroads. You can choose to believe Daksha's story, a story of pride, insult, and destruction. Or you can choose to see it differently. Maybe as hidden praise, maybe as an opportunity to grow, maybe as a path to understanding yourself better. When those words come at you, what story are you going to choose to believe?